Welcome back to Online Darts, everyone. Neil was in Portsmouth, so I thought, why not? It's been avoiding me for a while, hasn't you?
Yeah, we haven't really had the chance to kind of settle down. You've either been working or I've been working, and we haven't got round to it. Yeah, it's been a little while now.
Yeah, no, it's been good. How are you?
Very good. Yeah, I'm loving life at the minute now.
I was going to say, we see from social media, how's Switzerland treating you?
Yeah, loving it. Just a completely different change of lifestyle. And got a good girl there, and eating better, exercising, and just mentally and physically just twice the man I was 12 months ago.
You seem in a really good place as well, which is good.
Yeah, I've kind of, you get to a certain point in your life just where the kids are up, and I think for the first time in a few years now, I just feel completely content.
Nice.
Which makes playing darts easier. I say I got a good woman in it, and she just is fully behind me when I'm playing and stuff, so it just makes everything so much easier.
Well, let's take you back to Lakeside. It was an interesting tournament. Obviously, I saw you there and we caught up afterwards, but you played some good stuff. But then the game that you lost, me watching at home, first time it looked like that I've ever seen you lose your head on stage. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah. I always said I would never go to the PDC because of the crowd, because I bite. Probably shouldn't. But yeah, I got involved with one table in the crowd, or one guy on one table in the crowd. I think the rest of his pals all left him because he was being a bit of an idiot, like, you know. In fairness, I need to deal with that too, you know, I need to work on it, but this guy was just being an idiot, and I don't think that the Lakeside security team handled it too well. They did put him out, and then whenever they found out he was an off-duty policeman, they let him back in again. By that time I was only just starting to get myself back into the game. Brandon took out a big finish. I was actually on a bit of a roll, and he took out a big finish, which kind of just knocked the wind out of my sails in the last set. But up until that point, I was kind of comfortable and happy enough the way I was playing. I needed to rechannel that focus and do less. I mean, 2 years ago, that bomb would have went off behind me, I wouldn't have heard it. So I need to get back to that place. I know it's part of the game a lot now, but I kind of felt that was the first Lakeside where it was a PDC crowd and they weren't just that respectful to the players.
Well, you kind of beat me to it there. I was only there for the final, but I watched bits of it at home, and then obviously there. That's it. I agree. It seemed like it was what I call a modern darts crowd. Yeah. Now, as a player's point of view, would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. But the only difference is that the security staff have the power there. Where you know yourself at the PDC, it's the venue security teams, and they can't or won't, probably more can't get involved, and so the PDC security team can't deal with it themselves. But the Lakeside have the options there. The guy's paid for his ticket. If he's being an idiot, put him out. It doesn't cost the Lakeside anything, doesn't cost WDF anything, and just gives the players a chance to go up and play their game the way they want to play, you know.
Overall though, is this a positive step for WDF that it is more of a darts crowd? Because I think it's fair to say that in years gone by, the BDO and the WDF have been labelled with a certain stereotype of fan, where now if they're attracting a different audience, is that good or bad?
It's good for ticket sales. It is good for ticket sales. You seen it yourself, there was good crowds in.
It was good.
So off the back of that there, hopefully then there'll be maybe a TV deal next year. And hopefully then the WDF can kind of build off that there, bring in another couple of competitions a year, and get kind of back to where the glory days were. I don't think there's no reason why they can't. They proved this year that the audience is there, whether they're coming to a WDF event or I would actually say if you spoke to the guys, the audience that was there, they probably enjoyed it as much as a PDC event, because they're not really that interested in the darts. there was a lot of like Christmas parties and guys finishing work, and
Yeah.
so they weren't terribly interested in the darts. There was a lot of darts fans there, don't get me wrong, and the Lakeside always attracts darts fans. But yeah, as long as they don't get pissed off at 10 o'clock in the morning and then come in there and just make asses of themselves, But yeah, it's up to us as players just to deal with it as best way we can.
Where are you with the WDF circuit? Because we've spoken, obviously, where the rankings were, the way they were before, you were secured. Didn't have to do a lot last year. You were very much picking and choosing the ones you went to. Are we going to see you more on the tour this year, or are you still undecided?
Being based in Switzerland now, I'm going to do a few more of the ones locally to there.
Yeah.
I'm in Romania next weekend. And then we'll do Denmark, Hungary, stuff like that there. It's not a big priority. It's not high on my priority list. We're talking now, I want to come back in February to do the ADC tour events in Aylesbury.
Yeah.
I'll still be a big patron of the ADC. And then with the seniors, with Modus, and then fit in WDF just if and where I can,
I'm guessing the priority though, the tour may not be high, but getting back to Lakeside is?
No, but the thing is, since I've won it, the worst I've done is quarterfinals. So the points I'm bringing off them there is still keep me. I think I'm number 3 in the Road to Lakeside rankings. I've slipped down, I think 24th or something out there because I didn't play a lot last year.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can go out and get a couple of results maybe in Romania. Might just want me to push on, and I don't like Jimmy Van Schie getting all his own way, So I'd just like to be the fly in the ointment and go out and take a few more titles. And I picked up a couple last year, and I do enjoy the WDF events because the overseas events, because over the last 10, 12 years I've made a lot of friends out there.
Yeah.
So I'm actually I'm going to Romania next week, and I'm doing a wee bit of media stuff with them, and they look after you. They're getting us picked up at the airport and stuff like that there. So it's always a pleasure to go to them. It's not expensive. There, Denmark. I would have loved I went to Slovakia, but it clashes with the Seniors World Championships. But we'll see what 2025 brings. But ADC and Modus will be probably highest on my priority list.
It's interesting. You seem like talking about the foreign European events that you said before, that the way they are run is so much better than the home nations events. Now, I'm not having a swipe here, but we haven't spoken for quite a while about this. Has there been any improvement in the home nations events since we last spoke, or is it still very much the same that the European ones are run so much better?
I haven't done any. I haven't done any of them. I have no intentions of doing any of them. Isle of Man's going to be in March. I'm actually back down here again, so I'm for the double in, double out. So Scottish Open I might go to because the girl and I are actually going to do Dublin and then go up to Belfast and meet the family, and then we're going over to the Premier League in Glasgow.
Right, okay.
Just for a bit of a break, then she's flying home, and then I'll head down to the Circus Tavern then for the seniors on the Thursday.
Yeah.
So might do the Scottish Open. It was never one of my big favourites anyway. It's a bit of a. But again, I've got a lot of my two best friends are from Glasgow, and it's nice to go over and see them as well. But we have talked about it, and the overseas events, I don't know whether because they're financed by a lot of the government, get financed on them. But a lot of these competitions, they don't have Darts Connect, they don't have speakers shouting, getting on the whole way through competitions, and they just seem a lot more laid back, and they run better. Romania is one of the best run competitions on the WDF tour. Simply for the fact that they've got maybe 30 or 40 volunteers all the time doing something. Everybody knows what they have to do, and everything just works. So yeah, the Home Nations ones, I don't know. I got a bit of a sickener, so I did. So again, they won't be behind my priority list either.
Nice, I like that. The ADC stuff that you spoke about, obviously we'll be at the first global championship this year to kind of box off that ADC year and tour, and with the tour events, the ADC continues to grow. Are you happy? And one, with the growth of the ADC, and two, obviously as a pioneer of it, do you want to champion it? Are they making the right strides?
Yeah, absolutely they are. I actually remember doing an interview with you 2 years ago, and we talked about this, and I said that if one of the amateur organisations hits the same pitfalls, that there's another amateur organisation just sitting waiting to take over, and I feel like it's taken over. There's more money out there than the WDF competitions. And I'm not bashing the WDF. I know that they're really trying, and kind of came away from the Lakeside hopeful that things is going to improve, and they are going to do some more stuff for the top players. You know yourself, after I won the Lakeside, if it wasn't for Modus, the Super Series, for the seniors, I had no way of showcasing me as a player. Yeah. So I would have just slipped into obscurity again. So for that there, I am really grateful that they filled that void. But I don't know. I'm just happy to still be playing and still keeping my name out there. But it's not through WDF events. There's a lot of these Home Nation Dart things. They're not even on Darts Connect. You can't even watch them. They don't even make Darts for Windows. So yeah, it's. I'm not sure whether but put it like this here. I had a guy who messaged me, and he's played at Modus, not there, and he's thinking about doing a lot of the WDF tour this year. He says, Neil, how much do you think it would cost? And I went to do them all, £35,000. There's not anywhere near that there money getting brought back out again. You mean you won't make money at it, you know? So I said to him, stick to the silvers and the golds, instead of trips in your ass all over Europe just to pick up points. I know there is people that like to do that there just to play the bronze events, but yeah, ADC with the vaults. And this is another thing. I was talking with Devin Peterson about it the other day. ADC has made a big space where you see a lot of youth players coming through. But also, and we have noticed it at the vaults and stuff at home, all these men who had struggled with mental health and social anxiety off the back of lockdown and stuff, guys who just played darts in the house, never really wanted to come out, they started to come out of the vaults, and then they get social skills from it. And that was something that I actually opened my eyes to ADC, these vaults, is that it is actually helping people. Youth players, the youth system in Northern Ireland has never been stronger. And I can go to a vault in Ballyclare on Sunday, and half the field will be under 16, which is class. Brilliant.
Superb.
Yeah. And then when you've got the tour events, the Players' Championship, and you've the global, there's so many things to do. Plus we're picking up, we've got their ADC sanctioned events in Northern Ireland too, where I'm like 500 points clear anybody in the rankings in that one there, you know. So yeah, I think the ADC everyone's looking rosy for them.
On the Lakeside, it's the first chance I've had to ask one of the top players this question. When the prize money was announced, obviously it was down on on the previous years, and that's just a fact of life. You can't, if the money's not there, the money's not there. But they kept the top prize on both the men's and the women's the same, and that hit was taken down.
Off down the way.
Was lower down to the point where you looked at people travelling from America, Australia, would lose money by coming to the World Championship. As one of the top players, would you have been adverse to or minded if they'd have said, right, okay, the winner's only going to get 30 grand and that 20 grand we're going to filter down so the money is more evenly distributed? Where would you have stood
the
on
thing
that?
is, it's easy to ask that question now because we're 6 weeks past the Lakeside, but whenever it was released, it didn't bother me one jot because I was going for the 50,000. I wasn't thinking about coming second or fourth.
I get
you know
that.
what I mean? So when there was a guy in a grand skimmed off here and a grand skimmed off there, I was like, that just didn't even filter through to my brain. Was then going, well, it's another 50 grand, like so.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So,
I get that.
But looking back on it now, whereas you take, I think there was 5 or 6 Australian players who had come over like pretty much nearly a week before. £750 for a first round, for a prelim round. That's taxed. Overseas players are taxed on that as well.
Yeah.
2 years ago, whenever I stayed at the Lakeside, it was £50 a night, and the money was taken out of your prize money. Last year it was 70. This year it was £99. So them players are staying there for 10, 12 nights. I mean, it's cost them 2 or 3 grand to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, I can understand players like Ben Robb and that there who can come over here and make decent money PDC, even if they're getting first, second round, but they're getting paid, it's covering them to be here.
Yeah.
But for guys to qualify in Australia or Canada and come over to having to play a prelim, it's not financially viable. I say cut it back down, the numbers back down again. Wipe off the first weekend, play it from Tuesday or Wednesday, and then just bulk up the prize money just so that a first round loser, it's worth their while to come across. But it's the same thing. The World Masters was in Budapest. The amount of qualifiers, overseas qualifiers, I mean long distance overseas qualifiers, and they couldn't make it. And that's why, and I spoke to you about it, I says, give the top teams 16 seeds, 16 places in the last 32. Let them know that they're guaranteed some sort of financial money to make it worth their while coming over. Because, I mean, travelling halfway across the world, to have a half chance at picking up, what was the Masters, 10 grand?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 grand, but even, I mean, could scalp that there by the time you get the tax and all taken out of it. And,
Yeah, no.
you know. So, yeah. But on the other flip side of that coin is, at least there is a World Championships. You know, they could just turn around and go, this is too hard to get money for, and just wipe it off the calendar. I mean, it's happened before. So at least there is something there to play for. Had I been thinking about it the other way, I kind of would have went, yeah, you need to break this money down a little bit better. I mean, if you do the tour for 12 months to get into a qualifying position for the Lakeside, to go out in a prelim round and get £750, in comparison to the money you've spent to earn them points, it's unjustifiable. You know, in my eyes, there's no money in that side of the game unless you're finishing top 4, the Lakeside. You're going to run at a loss.
Is there a way that the ADC and the WDF can work together?
No, absolutely not. For the simple reason, and we've talked about this before too, is that there's too many set in their ways people on the WDF, within the WDF, who will obstruct change. They could have voted and had the DRA come on board this year.
Yeah.
And it was turned down. And you know what I mean? That's something that's only good for the game. But because it has affiliations with the PDC, they didn't want it. So that just completely ignored it. So for them, if they're going to go, oh, we're going to work with the ADC, it won't happen. I can't ever see it happening. I think there maybe is blood in the WDF that would be open to the idea. I think Nick Rolls would genuinely sit down and go, well, let's see what we can do as an advantage for both parties. But I think Nick can only be the spokesman.
He gets blocked when it...
That's it. When it comes to then he has to go and sit in front of representatives, delegates. And he's hitting his head off a brick wall at times, you know. Yeah, I sat in that meeting in Slovakia and I just kind of sat back and think some things will just never ever change. They'll never be. They can't change because the old school will never allow it. And there's meetings within meetings, and yeah, it is a pity too, you know, because I actually think that the ADC could help the WDF, and I think the WDF could maybe actually strengthen the ADC as well, as far as global darts. I've been talking to Scott Hunt and hoping to maybe try and roll out some ADC stuff in Switzerland, Hungary, Romania, which is it's way down the line at the minute. But yeah, if it was possible then to tie in with their federations, who are WDF registered organisations, it could work advantageous for both ways, but I just don't ever see it happening.
Well, no, it's interesting. Obviously, you're one that's spent a lot of time in both systems, so it's interesting to see what you think. Obviously, I know that you've always ruled out wanting to go on the PDC tour, but did part of you ever consider Q School just to go and play on the Challenge Tour and just cut your teeth and have a little go at that side of it a little bit?
We talked about this lately too. That I'm not that sort of player. I couldn't do it half-heartedly. If I went, I would be going to bust my ass for a tour card. So it's that or nothing. But until that changes, don't get me wrong. I sat and watched the Fallout Bar, and I was watching the averages, and especially the first few rounds every day in the European one, because I can actually play in that one. And I was kind of going, I should have entered this. I shouldn't have entered it. Some of them weren't great like that. And I kind of don't get, we've been talking about it a wee bit in the players' room there, where the guys, I'm all for anyone, chase their dreams, but be realistic.
I'm completely
guys, you know your guys in there losing with a 35 average, and
I'm better than that, and I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but £450, like, you know, I mean, it's not 20 quid to enter a local competition. But whoever it was has said to these guys, yeah, you have to go and give it a go. I don't know. I hold a record in Northern Ireland. That's my one dart average for a county game.
Just out of interest then, if they changed the system and it's old school when you could just pay to go on the Challenge Tour, would you give that a go? Because then you could still play in everything else?
Yeah, I probably would. Just for the Challenge Tour to get, you know, to maybe get Pro Tour experience or something like that there, you know. As for playing like the Ali Pali or the Winter Gardens out there, that's never appealed to me.
Is there not one part of Neil Duff that would just love to do it once? Like, look, you've won at Lakeside. Is there not part of you that goes, I just once, Just once.
I would like to do the walk-on once. I would be happy to do the walk-on once. But I think as far as the rest of it are concerned, I would probably be the first professional dart player to get a DRA ban for smacking someone in the crowd. Because that's me. There's certain parts of your personality you'll never change, and like that guy at the Lakeside this year came very, very close. I was like, I'll see you in the car park. And it scares me sometimes because it brings out the old Neil that I would have hit first and then just, and it got me in more trouble than enough, To be 1,000,000% honest, to go and play at the Winter Gardens no, it has never been a dream. I've played at the Circus Tavern for the Masters. I played there for the seniors, but it's a completely different crowd. It's a crowd who love darts, who love the nostalgia of the darts. And then I'm just a young kid, and I just go in, But we'll see. We'll see.
I like the fact that you've just left us hanging a little bit. No, but it's interesting. I know you said that you wouldn't want to do it all the time, but it's just a little part that once we'd like to see you at the Ali Pally, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll maybe go to a couple of the UK Open qualifiers this year, maybe, because they seem to be different. Because you don't know what you could be playing on the stage, you could play on the runways and stuff, Listen, I think the PDC is fantastic, everything they've done, but just right from day one, it was the crowd. I think it's from the very first time I went to a Premier League, and that just kind of put me. I I would never want to play with this going on behind me.
No, I get that.
It's just, I don't know. Ken, if you ask anyone who's any interest in darts at all, and the dream is to walk out on the Ali Pally, I'd love to walk out, but just wave and then just go back home again. It's playing up there and for a match to be a last leg to be said, or they come just on people booing and whistling, and it's just not for me. No,
I get that. It's just interesting to see, because I was saying most people would want to, but look, everyone's different, and I like that.
Yeah, I'm just being completely honest about it. It's in fairness, like it's only the last few years where stage walk-ons and playing with the crowd not there is kind of pretty new to me too, But I kind of hit the ground running with it, and then I love it. I kind of love it up, and I try as much participation with the crowd and stuff too, and I'm actually really looking forward to the Circus Tavern this year, because I'm flying my dad and my brother over. They've never seen me play live.
Nice.
So my dad's getting on a bit, and I want to bring him over and give him the whole experience. So, and he played a wee bit of darts years ago, and always watched the darts. So kind of introduced him to Phil and my pals,
well, on the seniors, that you got baptism of fire for Vincent, his first seniors event, and he gets Neil Duff. What was your first reaction when, I know you were watching us do the draw live, when it come out?
Yeah, I watched it here, but it was actually on a video call with Dominica, and she was watching it. So and she was like, "Who do you want?" And I went, "Oh well, let me see. I don't want Lisa. I would take Trina. Don't want Chris. Because all these boys have all pushed me before, and then I kind of went, but it's an absolute certainty that I'll get either Steve Beaton or Vincent Vanderbilt. And then it came out, and she was bouncing all around the apartment, and I kind of went, but that's a good thing. I was happy with it, because we play at a good pace, and we will bring the best out, or he'll bring the best out in me. I'm not sure what way, how much he's been playing, but I'm not the sort of player that will actually think too much about it. And as good a form as you can be in, that Circus Tavern crowd's a brilliant crowd because the whole crowd's so close to the stage. I played last year, played Paul Hogan, and the guy in the front row was sitting with his feet up on the stage, just sitting there resting, loving his little life, you know. But it is that personal, and then just to have my dad and my brother there, that'll give me a little boost as well. Yeah, Vincent, you're in for it, son.
Look, we keep saying it's about time that Neil Duff wins one of these seniors events. You put in a good performance, but then there's a drop-off game. How do you eliminate that game? Yeah,
but it's still a learning curve for me because I've never actually had to play on TV, then have a break, then play again.
Yeah.
In York last year, I played. Who did I put out? Richie Howson. Put Richie out, but then I had to play Jim McEwen.
Yeah.
So I played at 1, and then I had to play again at 7.
Yeah. It's that
for me, I was like,
what do you do?
Do you go and sit and watch some of it? Do you go back to the room just and chill out? And I went down and had a mixed grill and a couple of drinks, but then. And it was the worst thing I ever done because after eating a feed like that, then I felt lethargic and felt really flat and hard to get yourself going again. Where I probably should have went back to the room and kind of learned by that there. But yeah, I haven't had the easiest of draws in the seniors either, though. So I haven't. And then just the same as in Modus or anywhere else, people always seem to up their game against me too. You know what I mean, I played Rob Thornton in this 2 years ago, and he was averaging 106 after the first 2 sets. And I'd played Lisa, and I had played Keith Deller.
Yeah.
And played steady, 90 plus. And I kind of walked into that one thinking a 90 plus would probably be in around enough. And the first 2 sets, Robert just wiped the floor with me, and I kind of like body shock then. But yeah, it's one of the places where I love to play, and yeah, there has to be coming very soon that there'll be a proper result coming.
What would a good year for Neil Duff look like?
A good year for Neil Duff. Win tomorrow night, the League of Legends. Yeah, pretty would be a lot more success down here with us. Kind of went the first 6 months of the year. I picked up 3 weekly titles and a special week title, and then kind of just dropped off a bit. So it's keep the momentum going. Yeah, same as last year with ADC. Keep myself well up the rankings and go out and put some good performances in. Starting to play some overseas stuff, some stuff in Switzerland. I entered the Swiss Darts Corporation, their biggest event at the end of the year, the Sunday before Christmas. 256 players. It's kind of the pinnacle of their season, and they run a real good outfit. They've like a tour championship throughout the year, and it's you have to buy a tour license, like £900 for the year. So to walk up into the first one, kick ass, sorted Stefan Belmont out in the semi-final, went on to win it. Yeah, I'm kind of just, if they didn't know me, then they know me by the time of leaving, you know. And then we went to an SDA one last weekend. Unfortunately, one of the old guys keeled over, took a massive heart attack and died in the venue, so the darts was cancelled. So I'm going to play a few of them there later in the year. The Swiss Darts Corporation seems to be the way to go too for me over there, because of the way it's run and a lot of round robin stuff, so it gives me a chance to warm up properly. Yeah, I would love for Australia to be back on again this year, but we've been invited to Florida at the beginning of August. They've got 2 weekends competitions. So David Fathom had sent me some details over, so If Australia doesn't happen, then we'll be seriously looking into going over there. And
the Duff man going stateside.
Yeah, but 2025 will be mainly about enjoying playing again, just enjoying the game and just being happy. You know, 2024, kind of the best part of it wasn't great for me, health wise and personal ways, but finished really strong and bringing it into 2025 now, and I'm just looking ahead.
Someone said on Lakeside, I can't remember who it was, but the Duff Man nickname is officially gone now. Is that correct? The Duff Man is no more?
It'll never be totally away. It'll never totally be away. Well, you know what, I'm doing autographs, not there, still saying the Duff Man, but I tried to kind of get rid of it. But then commentators will still always refer back to the Duff Man. Even if you drop it as a introduction, the commentators will always go on, and there's no point fighting it. It's there, so yeah, I don't mind it. Like there's no more of the actual Duff Man branded shirts and stuff like that there. I know Paul Nicholson wants one, but I've actually got one on set aside for him, so I have. But yeah, we just kind of rebrand it then, just to be a bit more professional and stuff like that there, you know. But the Duff Man is still very much alive and well.
No, it's an absolute pleasure catching up with you, my friend. Always appreciate it.
Thank you, mate.